All right, good night. Welcome to the gathering at Scott Memorial, Home Edition. This is Pastor Rachel coming to you live from my back deck. So, a few announcements in light of the shootings here in Virginia Beach on Friday. Methodist churches, really all kinds of churches here in the area, are hosting prayer vigils. And so tomorrow night, Monday, you have two opportunities at noon and 7 p.m. To be at Courthouse Community United Methodist Church. They are hosting a prayer vigil. I'll be there at 7 o'clock for that service. If you'd like to come out and join us as just a way to continue to pray and process everything that's been happening. I had this whole sermon series planned out that I started last week, final lessons from Rachel, because I'll be done here in a couple of weeks at the gathering, transitioning to Nashville. And today I was going to talk about this main life principle of always err on the side of love. Like, always choose love. Be grounded in love. Let it shape you, inform you, and drive what you do and say and how you act. But in light of the shootings on Friday and how many of us are impacted, how many people at our church are struggling and suffering and know someone who passed away or were there as a first responder, I wanted to talk about that. And I was like, oh, how many times have I intentionally addressed shootings while here at the gathering? And the ones that I could recall off the top of my head were the 2012 Sandy Hook shooting, right, where 20 kids, 6 and 7 and 6 adults were killed. And then I thought about the shooting that happened at Charleston. In Charleston at the AME Church in June of 2015, Eric did a sermon in response to the shooting at Pulse in Orlando. I had a whole sermon on tragedy following the loss of 58 lives in Vegas in 2017. And then we mentioned and talked about and prayed and grieved last Valentine's Day with what happened at Stoneman Douglas High School and the loss of life there too. So what do we do as Christians? How do we respond to this? I picked out 2 scriptures for us to go through tonight as we talk through our grief and how we're responding to the situation. So this passage comes from Romans chapter 12, verses 9 to 16, which says, "Love must be sincere. Hate what is evil, cling to what is good. Be devoted to one another in love. Honor one another above yourselves. Never be lacking in zeal, but keep your spiritual fervor, serving the Lord. Be joyful in hope, patient in affliction, faithful in prayer. Share with the Lord's people who are in need. Practice hospitality. Bless those who persecute you. Bless and do not curse. Rejoice with those who rejoice. Mourn with those who mourn. Live in harmony with one another. Do not be proud, but be willing to associate with people of low position. Do not be conceited." So as we go through this and we look at how it begins, it starts by saying love must be sincere. And in Greek, the word for sincere here means, more literally, not playing a part, not pretending, not being hypocritical. And one of the great attacks against Christianity and the church is that it's full of hypocrites. People can tell if you truly love them, if you truly care, if you're truly listening to them, or if you'd rather be on your cell phone or scanning through Facebook. They know if you love them and if it's authentic and genuine. And when you have that kind of genuine, authentic love, it stands out because it's the kind of love the world can't offer. So we must be, first and foremost, a people called to love, a sincere, genuine, authentic love that doesn't play a part, that doesn't pretend, that allows the love of God to pour out of us into those who need it the most. And then it goes on to say, hate what is evil. And some people say, Pastor Rachel, I can't hate. I'm a follower of Jesus. I can't hate anything. Well, you know what? I don't know about you, but I hate a lot of things, okay? I hate injustice, evil, and oppression in whatever forms they present themselves. I hate cancer. I hate discrimination. I hate the fact that Lakita won't travel anymore, that Tara won't celebrate her child's 2nd birthday. I hate the fact that Keith didn't sing in the choir today at church, that Bobby won't retire at the end of this year to spend more time with his family, that Bert won't go to church with his wife, that Catherine won't kiss her 3 kids goodnight tonight. I hate the fact that Josh won't write another children's book. I hate senseless loss and violence. I hate this tragic death and all of these tragic deaths and how they impact us and how we're grieving and can't move through it until we face the grief and what we're feeling in this moment. I hate pain. I hate suffering. I hate evil. It's okay to hate the forces of evil in our midst, because what's the alternative? To love them, to embrace them, to like them, to appreciate them? No, I hate what is evil. But then it goes on to say, cling to what is good. And the Greek word for cling here is kalao, which means to glue yourself, to cement yourself to something. And in times like these, when the world can feel so dark, it's important to glue and cement yourself to what is good, to hope, to light, to love, to grace, to peace and comfort. Paul goes on to tell the Romans, be devoted to one another in love. And this isn't a romantic love. The actual word in Greek is Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love. We have to be devoted to one another, seeing each other as brothers and sisters in Christ. He says, honor one another above yourselves. That's how you know it's family, right? You put them first above your own needs from time to time because you care about what they're going through, what they're enduring, and how you can help. It goes on in Romans to say, never be lacking in zeal, but keep your spiritual fervor, serving the Lord. And I love this because sometimes when we first come to Christ, we're so excited, we're so happy, we're so passionate about it. And then over time, we're like, oh, do I really have to go to another Bible study? Maybe I can miss that prayer group. You know what? What if we just stay home and have pancakes in our pajamas this morning and not go to church? And our walk with God just starts to slowly dwindle and fade. And my friends, when it does that, and then you spend like days, weeks, months, years away from church, it's harder to go back. It's not impossible. You should go back. We love to see you. It's amazing. But it's hard to keep that spiritual fervor, and Paul tells us to. And the word for fervor here is zeo, which means it's also used to describe boiling water. So keep that fervor. Keep the pot boiling, guys. Stay connected to the Holy Spirit, and may that be your source of passion, of heat, of staying connected and on fire for God. And then it goes on to say, after saying never be lacking in zeal, keep your spiritual fervor, serving the Lord. It says, be joyful in hope, patient in affliction, faithful in prayer. And I really want to focus on where it says be patient in affliction, because I feel like a lot of us are feeling afflicted right now. And again, guys, I love the Greek language, that affliction, the word for affliction in Greek is thalipsis, and it's the same word for like pressure, to feel compressed, like this heavy, heavy weight bearing down on you. So affliction is when you feel kind of the weight of the world bearing down on your shoulders, and so many of us are struggling with that right now. And we are called as followers of Christ to be patient in that affliction. And the word for patient there is tied into the Greek word meno, which we see where it says remain in me, abide in me, live in me, dwell in me. So what it means to be patient in affliction, another way that that's used is it's a way to describe the last soldier on the battlefield, someone who will not leave their post, that they won't retreat and run away, that they will stay when everyone else is gone. We are to be those people that stay and stand watch, that we are patient as this pressure is coming down on us, because we know that we serve a God who's going to help sustain us as we stand and fight that battle. Paul goes on to say, share with the Lord's people who are in need and practice hospitality. And we might think that practicing hospitality now means to invite your neighbors over for a wine spritzer and a cookout in the backyard as you give them hugs, but it's much more radical than that, my friends. There's a scholar, Everett Harrison, who said a better translation of this into English is to pursue love for the stranger. Pursue it. Make it your passion, your focus. Put time and energy into someone, a relationship with someone, showing love to someone who is foreign to you. So here is your mission, should you choose to accept it. Go outside tomorrow, look around your world, and find someone who feels like a stranger, because they look differently than you do. They dress differently. They talk differently. They love someone that you don't love. They're in some kind of relationship that you're just not comfortable with. Someone who rocks your world that you would typically avoid. And reach out and love them. Don't love them to change them so they become just like you. Love them with God's love. Knowing that when we love with God's love in this diverse and beautiful world, that we are very often shaped and formed by the people we love, and they are shaped and formed by us. That the purpose of loving, if it's going to be that true, authentic, genuine, not fake, put on love, is not with an agenda in mind, but just because they are God's gift to you in your life. And they can help you. If we all did a better job of loving the strangers in our midst, we wouldn't have so many people who are so profoundly alone. Paul goes on to say, bless those who persecute you. Bless and do not curse. And that's hard for me at times, right? Like, why should I bless people who persecute me? Doesn't the Old Testament say an eye for an eye? Can't I give back exactly what I've received? And yet Jesus says, listen, the law is different. It's not an eye for an eye anymore. Turn the other cheek. Bless those who persecute you. And it might seem or feel impossible, but here's the thing. When we respond not with anger to those who are attacking us, but with love and with grace, one of two things will happen. I don't know if you've ever reached out with love when someone is just attacking you for your faith, but in my experience, they either get really, really mad. No, you will not pray for me. I don't care that you still love me and that God loves me. Rah, 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 rah. And so it makes them even more angry, but it keeps me calm because I haven't been entrapped in whatever drama is going on around me. Or sometimes they just stop and they start crying, and they realize that they are angry and they're broken and that I'm an easy target, that I'm someone that they can blame, that it's really not the right thing to do. So bless those who persecute you. Now, mind you, these are people who persecute you when you're following God and you're trying to show grace and do good things. It does not equate when you're being like a jerk or a moron and people pick on you because of it. Well, I mean, you can bless them in return, but you might have a different outcome. I have no idea. And it goes on to say, rejoice with those who rejoice, mourn with those who mourn. And I think this is so important for us right now because some people are out there and they're holding on to hope and they're saying, Virginia Beach strong, and that's awesome. So Virginia Beach strong with them, but other people aren't there yet. They're still grieving. They're still under their covers in their room, not knowing what they feel and when they last ate. And for people like that, you need to be able to mourn with them too. Sometimes we're afraid of those who are grieving, who are wailing, who are lost, because we don't know how to fix it. We don't know how to make it better. Well, you can't fix it. You can't make it better. You can't make it go away. But what you can do is just sit shiva with them. Just sit beside them. Just be present in their grief. Not trying to say anything. Please don't try to explain why this tragedy happened, because we don't have the answers. But sit beside them, love them, hold them, comfort them, pray for them, and be there when they're ready to get up and out of bed and return to the world. It says, live in harmony with one another. Paul says, do not be proud, but be willing to associate with people of low position. Do not be conceited. I mean, I think a lot of us saw this as the first folks who were evacuated after lockdown from the buildings couldn't necessarily go to their cars and drive home. They weren't saying, oh, I'm sorry, you're not in my office. Oh, I'm better than you. Oh, you drive a nicer vehicle. No, they were in harmony with each other. They had each other's backs. They were walking alongside each other and just turning to each other because of their humanity. And sometimes it's in these tragic situations that we realize that we're all in this together and that we need each other to survive. The other text that I wanted to share with you today, I hadn't planned on sharing, but as if the events of Friday and just the grief all weekend wasn't enough, Rachel held Evan's funeral service was this weekend as well. And man, it was powerful and it was poignant. And the gospel lesson from that service was from John 20, 1-2, and up through verses 16. And what I realized was, as a pastor for 10 years, I've only preached on the resurrection text on Easter Sunday. And I want to do better for you guys. And Nadia Boltz-Weber is a phenomenal preacher who shared the homily at Rachel held for Evan's funeral service. And she shared her thoughts and reflections on this passage. It just struck the core of my being. So I'm not taking all of, or even most of what Nadia Boltz-Weber said, but this passage was powerful at her service, and I hope that it's meaningful and helpful to you tonight. So this is what it says, beginning with verse 1. Early on the first day of the week, while it was still dark, Mary Magdalene went to the tomb and saw that the stone had been removed from the entrance. So she came running to Simon Peter and the other disciple, the one Jesus loved, and said, "They have taken the Lord out of the tomb, and we don't know where they have put him." Now Mary stood outside the tomb crying. As she wept, she bent over to look in the tomb and saw two angels in white seated where Jesus' body had been, one at the head, the other at the foot. They asked her, "Woman, why are you crying?" "They have taken my Lord away," she said, "and I don't know where they have put him." At this she turned around and saw Jesus standing there. She didn't realize it was Jesus. He asked her, "Woman, why are you crying? Who is it that you're looking for?" Thinking he was the gardener, she said, "Sir, if you have carried him away, tell me where you have put him, and I will get him." Jesus said to her, "Mary." She turned toward him and cried out in Aramaic, "Rabboni," which means teacher. And I think this passage is so powerful because so many of us feel like Mary right now. We're standing outside the tomb. We're standing outside of death, and it's still dark outside. It's dark all around us, and we're crying. And the angels asked Mary, "Why are you crying?" Jesus asked Mary, "Why are you crying?" And I don't know why we're all crying, right? Maybe it's because we are grieving the loss of these precious, precious lives. Maybe we're crying because it could have been us. Maybe we're crying because there's some buried grief that is coming to the surface in light of the events of this weekend. Maybe we are crying, I love this, as Nadia Boltz-Weber said in her sermon, because death is a thief that we cannot put on trial. Maybe we're crying because of this evil in the world and we just feel powerless to overcome it. We don't know what to do, how to respond, and how to heal. for whatever reason, were standing there outside of the tomb in the dark weeping. And Mary Magdalene, if you know her story, according to Mark 16, Jesus did cast 7 demons out of her. They had this powerful and close relationship. She knew what it was like to live in darkness before Jesus came into her life, being possessed by demons. And then Jesus came and everything changed. And now he was gone again. And she didn't know where he was. And she was weeping, just wanting to know God was present with her. And some of us are crying for that same reason. God, are you here? They've taken my Lord away, and I don't know where they put him. And we don't even realize that Jesus now, just like then for Mary Magdalene, we think it's just the gardener beside us, but Jesus is there, present, waiting to call our name. And as soon as Jesus calls Mary's name, everything makes sense. And even in the darkness, she's reminded that there is hope, that there is resurrection, that there's truth and life and grace and goodness in store for her as well. And so I don't know where you are. I don't know if you're crying, why you're crying, if you feel like the Lord is lost to you as well. But I do know that I serve a Lord who died on a Friday. And on Sunday morning, because he rose again, everything changed. Everything was and will be different for me. And that we all serve a Lord who longs to bring hope, healing, and call out the name of each and every single one of us. So that even in our darkest of times, we know that the darkness won't win. That people may have died in Virginia Beach on Friday and on Saturday as they succumbed to their injuries in surgery, but death may have won this battle, but it will not have the victory. That when all is said and done, we can hold on to this promise of life and love now and forever. May we seek to live into that love now, love for the stranger, as we lean into the love of the Lord. Thanks be to God. Amen. I'm going to end our time together by sharing a lengthier, I think, version of the benediction that Nadia Bolz-Weber had at Rachel Held Evans' funeral, and it was her own rendition of the Beatitudes, and I think it's just so beautiful and poignant. So you can close your eyes, you can keep them open, I won't necessarily know, but may these words resonate with your soul the way that they did with mine. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are the agnostics. Blessed are they who doubt, those who aren't sure, who can still be surprised. Blessed are they who are spiritually impoverished, and therefore not so certain about everything that they no longer take in new information. Blessed are those who have nothing to offer. Blessed are they for whom nothing seems to be working. Blessed are the preschoolers who cut in line at communion. Blessed are the poor in spirit. You are of heaven, and Jesus blesses you. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are they for whom death is not an abstraction. Blessed are they who have buried their loved ones, for whom tears are as real as an ocean. Blessed are they who have loved enough to know what loss feels like. Blessed are the mothers of the miscarried. Blessed are they who don't have the luxury of taking things for granted anymore. Blessed are they who can't fall apart because they have to keep it together for everyone else. Blessed are the motherless, the alone, the ones from whom so much has been taken. Blessed are those who still aren't over it yet. Blessed are they who laughed again when for so long they thought they never would. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Blessed are those whom no one else notices. The kids who sit alone at the middle school lunch tables, the laundry guys at the hospital, the sex workers, and the night shift street sweepers. Blessed are the losers and the babies and the parts of ourselves that are so small. The parts of ourselves that don't want to make eye contact with a world that only loves the winners. Blessed are the forgotten. Blessed are the closeted. Blessed are the unemployed, the unimpressive, the underrepresented. Blessed are the teens who have to figure out ways to hide the new cuts on their arms. Blessed are the meek. You are of heaven, and Jesus blesses you. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Blessed are the wrongly accused, the ones who never catch a break, the ones for whom life is hard, for they are those whom Jesus chose to surround himself. Blessed are those without documentation. Blessed are the ones without lobbyists. Blessed are foster kids and trophy kids and special ed kids and every other kid who just wants to feel safe and loved and never does. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness. Blessed are they who know there has to be more than this, because they are right. Blessed are the merciful, for they will receive mercy. Blessed are those who make terrible business deals for the sake of people. Blessed are the burnt-out social workers and the overworked teachers and the pro bono case takers. Blessed are the kids who step between the bullies and the weak. Blessed are they who delete hateful, homophobic comments off their friend's Facebook page. Blessed are the ones who have received such real grace that they are no longer in the position of ever deciding who the deserving poor are. Blessed is everyone who has ever forgiven me when I didn't deserve it. Blessed are the merciful, for they totally get it. Amen. Hope you guys have a great night. I look forward to seeing you next Sunday, either in worship at 9 or 10:15, or next Sunday evening at 8. All right, you guys take care. You are loved. I am praying for you. I'm here for you. You are not alone. All right, have a good night. Bye.